Hello everyone, my name is Li Hao. Today I'm going to do something different. I haven't been looking at Svelte's issue for a while, probably because I've been creating videos, contents, and tutorials for a while. I feel like I want some change of pace. So I haven't been actually looking at all this issue for a while, and I noticed some issues that are marked as bug. And today I'm gonna try something different, which is I'm gonna look at one of the issue, probably this one, and probably will walk through if you guys see how we're gonna fix this issue. I haven't really looked into this issue itself, so probably you will see me a lot of like debugging and all this stuff. Hopefully it's not too boring, cause a bit nervous. I'm not really sure I can fix this like in one session, but we'll try. We'll try and see, and hopefully it's good. So usually when I look at issues, the first thing I'm looking at is actually a REPL link. I don't really look at what they are trying to say. I'm just trying to see whether I can understand from the issue link, REPL, and try to play with it and see whether I can understand what's going on wrong. If I can't, probably it's time to actually pay attention on what people have been writing. It's just my habit. I usually like to jump into the problem itself immediately rather than try to figure things out. So over here it says that because sometimes REPL people do write comments explaining what's breaking and what's not, right? So over here it says that it has a key, a slide. Okay, slide is not going to change anywhere. Okay, and an if case, if num, so num is false. Okay, let's see. So you don't have the first element, you have the second element. When num is equals to true, first div is inserted after second. Right. First div is inserted after second. Oh, okay. This is probably wrong, right? Because let's see, the flex says that it should come before second. Right? If we inspect elements, technically first should be before second because it's here first. Right? This is something wrong we should fix. Probably I have a good guess about this one. Probably it's related to some sort of anchor element. If you haven't heard about anchor element, probably you can read one of my blog posts about I can't remember the exact name. I think it's this one. It's about if block, right? So there's this in this section talk a lot about the anchor element, on why we need an anchor element for if block. Basically it's for the if blocks to know, for example, I add an empty element over here, an empty element over here, so that I can anchor it that the first will be inserted right before this like empty element, anchor element, right? So I will have to add this before this thing, or else because Svelte uses append child to append the div, and because this is already here, if you append it, probably you append at the last as the last child. But if you have something like an anchor and then you just insert before this thing, then you have the first appears in front of second. Right? This is just my guess. I'm not really sure I'm right or wrong. Probably I have to check it out. Usually I would try to copy this code and try to run it locally, because looking at here, it's a bit hard to look at code over here. So that is what I'm going to do now. So I'm heading over my terminal. CD. So I have a folder that I have created. It's called a Svelte project. I have dumped a lot of issues REPL over here. If you take a look over here, you'll see that there's a lot of files that I've written over here. I've been overriding like the app Svelte file over and over. Yeah, probably that's what I'm going to do now as well. And also because this file I have Symblink, if you look at node modules, Svelte, sorry. Probably you'll notice that the Svelte is Symblink to the Svelte folder, Svelte project, which is I have it cloned locally in my machine as well. So if I build something, this will always point to my latest version in local host, local machine. Right, so probably over here I'm probably gonna build again, because I just pulled from the master and I haven't been pulling Svelte master for a while. I'm not sure what I'm missing over here. So I'm gonna do that now. Over here, I'm gonna do build. Let's see. Once this is done, I'm gonna build this project. Right, so I just pasted the app.svelte in. Right, let's see. Okay, this is done. I'm gonna build this. This is done as well. Oh, hold on a sec. Okay, I think I've done something previously. Let me clear them out as well before we build this. Rollup config. Yeah, I should disable this one because I was fixing some custom element issue. That's why I have this turned on. Okay. Okay, probably I need to look at this one as well. The entry file is main.js. Main.js. Oh yeah, because of the custom element. Okay, I need to uncomment this. Probably I can add this directly in the code. So this built a bundle.js. Hey, hold on. This, oh my god. I've made a lot of changes over. I should probably fix them. Hold on. Let me take a look. So dev false CSS admit. Okay. This looks good. Generate bundle. This one can comment out. Cursor. Bundle.js. Right. Looks okay. And then source main.js should import Svelte and have this. Mounting the elements in the document body, that looks okay. And app.svelte is the one that we just pasted in, that looks okay as well. Okay, let's try that again. Build. Okay. I think it works. Okay, it works. Okay, so bundle.js is what we have over here. And index.html will remove this. This is that custom element I had previously. Okay, so now I am going to open another tab in my terminal. And I'm gonna serve from the public folder. Right. Usually I'm gonna comment out the source map because it's helpful for me to debug on the Chrome DevTools, because source map, whenever I look into console log, it will show me the original source, which is useful for debugging for most people. But what I actually want is to look at the actual code. I want to debug from here, the bundle.js. Right, so that's why I removed the source mapping, so I don't have to look at the actual source code. Sorry, I need to hard refresh. Okay, this is the issue that we're looking at. See, bundle.js. Yep. So if I have source map turned on, again, if I have source map turned on, I wouldn't see this file, bundle.js. I would just see app.svelte and that the source, original source instead. So I'm guessing it's because of the anchor, right? That's because I'm fairly know how this works. So I'm gonna come here and find like key. So this is okay. So for people who couldn't follow along, because hopefully I'm not too fast. So over here we have key block and a if block, right? So technically, okay. Self promotion again. If you not sure how a compiled code look like, a compiled Svelte code look like, go to my blog, compile Svelte in your head. There's a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. It's not a lot, still trying. So the first two is probably the basics in terms of like how a normal component will look like, and then 3 is custom directives, directives such as on, bind, and use, and part 4 will be if, which covers like the if block, right? So if you look at here, so when you have if block, whatever is inside will be inside another function, another fragment function called something something if block or something else block, right? That so this it will have a if block over here, and there's a key block function over here. So if I look at the bundle.js again, I'm gonna search for that if block, right? So it's probably here. So this is to update the if block. Let me maximize this. This is to update the if block. Others update the if block. So this is probably the key block. Wait, this is not the key block. Then something is not quite right. Right? Let's take a look at the source code again. Okay. I know why. Because I did a little bit of optimization over here. If the slide is not a truly reactive, not a dynamic variable, I am not going to create a key block. Okay, so what this means is that over here you can't find key block, but if you have a function called any function that updates the variable, so this variable becomes dynamic, then probably you can find a key block over here. Yeah. So I only create this as a separate block if this is dynamic, because or else you just render whatever is in here. I guess right now I roughly know what's wrong. It's because probably if block did not create an anchor because it feels like it's within a key block. Within any block, then probably would not create an anchor. Right. So for those, okay. So this is, sorry, I'm not that structured over here because I'm still figuring this out. So if block, let's see. Oh, hold on. But this will create an error. If block. This will be an anchor. Right. Okay, so over here you will see the if block will have some sort of anchor. But over here, the if block will mount to now. Right? This is anchor. And this is now. So this is the biggest difference. And I believe if we have some sort of anchor, which I'm gonna manually create myself for now. Let anchor. Okay, no, let if block anchor. And I'm gonna create it over here. And then when I mount it, I'm gonna mount it here. I think append div one block anchor. I believe it's in here. Let's take a look within this div. Yeah, correct. Right after the if block, whether or not you will right after this. And then, hey, hold on. Yeah, this one will have to add it over here. Okay, let's try this again. So what I've done over here is that I try to manually update the output, adding if block. If it works, then I will change the Svelte code to add this in, right? So I try to, so my approach is usually a reverse engineer. I try to come up with a code that works. And if it works, then I will go back one step to go to look at the Svelte source code, which is the code that generates this code, right? So I don't have to think so much where like what should I generate, because over here I just try whatever code I feel like it's working until it works. Then only I think about how to generate that code. So hard refresh. Oh man, it's not working. Empty is not defined. Okay. Empty is not defined. Empty. Okay. Empty is actually create an empty text. I'm gonna do this one now. Refresh. Yep. First is inserted before second. This is what what we want, right? Okay. You can fix this first. Of course I see that there's more bugs than it's just one. When you uncomment this, it breaks with an error. That is something different. We're gonna fix it later as well. But probably we'll fix the first bug first. Right. So once I know that what is missing, the anchor is missing in this case. What I need to do next is that probably will need to copy this. Go to Svelte. I'm gonna create a test case. So what should I name this? I'm very bad at naming, but probably I'll go find a test runtime, a key block, static, somewhere. I'm gonna find some previous test cases and name it somewhat similar name so that the same things are grouped together, right? So these are all test cases for key block, so that's why I'm gonna add it here. So I'm gonna call key block static if. Sorry, bad naming, but I'm really bad at this. So first thing is true. Okay, so test case. For those who haven't looked at Svelte source code, test case usually they have so different kind of test cases. So in the test folder you have CSS. This test purely about CSS scoping, custom elements, hydration, JS, motion, parser. So JS is snapshot testing. It takes in a Svelte source code and it will compare the JS output and do snapshot testing on that. But we don't really write a lot of them. It's not that recommended to write this if you can write a runtime test, because the general code could break. So this will have a lot of false negative. False negative, false positive. Sorry, I am not really sure whether it's called false negative or false positive. Should be false positive, right? It's positive, but it's false. Yep, sorry. Come back to this. Usually I add a lot of test case to runtime. I don't really know what the other things are doing. Parser is usually taking a Svelte source code and generate a AST and then snapshot tests on that AST. And also test some warnings, passing errors and stuff. Validator as well. Validator tests a lot of compile warnings. Vars are we don't change vars that much. Vars are test cases that tracks variables. So the input is a Svelte source code. The output, what you test is that you will have a list of variables that is being detected in that Svelte source code, and then it tries to see whether you mark or you flag them correctly, whether they are reactive or updated or used in the template, things like that, right? Okay, I can show you a quick example. For example, this is the input, right? This is the test case that tests whether how many variables is being picked up by the Svelte compiler and what are their status or their properties, right? Are they a module variables? What's their name? Are they reassigned? Are they referenced? Are they referenced from the script, not just from the templates? Are they writable and stuff like that, right? So back to here, so there's some naming conventions for different kind of test cases. For runtime tests, min.svelte is the entry file. So over here, I'm gonna copy this and paste it in. Usually I don't copy everything in. For example, style is not really needed. I can comment them away. Usually I keep the test case only one thing that is going to be testing. So in this case, I'm going to test only the button is click. So we need to test the case that we saw just now, right? The case where we uncomment the code and have a different bug. We're going to leave it aside first. We will have a different test case for that. So here, this is a button, obviously. Let's name it button. Okay, on click, change num. I think that's okay. Button. So usually I do some cleaning. Button, I'm gonna just say click. A very simple test case. I remove a lot of unnecessary code. This is slide. Yeah, I think this variable. Okay, I think that's okay. I don't need classes as well. I don't need to style anything. I might not even need this as well. Okay, I don't know. Let's add this. Let's keep this. Let's keep this, and I think that's it. Num. Change num. Okay, so over here, usually when I test, I want to test a simple case first. So I'm going to skip the SSR case and also skip for hydration. Because this one test is being reused for both SSR and hydration. This is the rendered HTML. So it will test like whether the HTML looks the same. Let's use template literal, that's easier. Okay, so I'm gonna be lazy. I'm just gonna type A, and then when it complains, I will replace it with the actual thing. So it will so usually when you run tests, it will complain that A does not match with something, and I will just copy that something. If that something looks okay, I'll just copy that something in to over here, so I don't have to type that out. Yeah, that's because I'm lazy. So div over here, I'm gonna have a button. Let's see, div button. I'm gonna call this different so that I can query them. I'm gonna call it section. Div, yeah, section. I think section is easier. That's just because when I select, I just want to select the outer container, right? So by div, I might not really sure which div I'm gonna select. Section is, so I'm gonna use some semantic HTML, not necessarily semantic. I'm just gonna select something that is different. Why not using class or ID? Because I'm lazy. Because I don't have to, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so the bug occurs when we click on the button, right? So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna simulate that. So dispatch action event. Again, can't really remember. Usually I search. There's a lot of. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. This special click event. Right. I've written this a lot of times, but I still can't remember. Oh, okay. One thing is this should be single quotes. I should do this to update my ESLint, my prettier preference, but because my prettier auto formats it to double quotes and dangling commas, but then ESLint, the project ESLint doesn't like that. Yeah, too bad. I know. I should have updated my prettier config. Just that, maybe next time. So okay. So back to the topic. Once we dispatch a click event, we're gonna check the content. Right. Again, copy this over here. Yep. I'm gonna leave this blank. And let's run the test. Right. So I have the Svelte folder over here. I'll create. I'm gonna open another folder. Open another tab. Gonna move it over. Hold on. CD Svelte. So the command to run test is yarn quick test. And because we chose to run a solo test, so it will only run this test. Sorry, it's a bit slow. So this looks okay, right? A section with a div, second div, and a button, right? So I'm just gonna paste this in. I'm gonna format it a bit so that it's easier to look at. It doesn't matter about the spacing in most cases, because what happens is that the test case, like the test runner will actually copy this and set as an inner HTML of the JS DOM, and then you will compare it will actually remove all formatting and then compare them as string, something like that. Yep. So over here, let's paste this in. Okay, this time around, this is not quite correct, because the first should come before the second. Right. So we'll try to run the test again, then it will fail and complain about the order of these two elements. Right. So that's me being lazy, not going to copy all the HTML over, because it's not exactly the same as like the Svelte, because you don't have the logic blocks and you don't have like callbacks and stuff. So I prefer to run tests to figure that out. Okay, right? Now it complains. As you can see, when it compares, it removes all the spaces, right? So in this case, yeah, these two are different. That's why it doesn't match. And that's what we are going to fix. So let's see. This is in if block, right? So let's go to render DOM if block. I know this well because I've been working on the code base. and know which file to look at. But basically, a rule of thumb would be anything that relates to the outputs will be in the render DOM function folder or the render SSR folder, depends on the build target. Then nodes will be mostly logics of analyzing the code, sort of. CSS will be CSS, as the name suggests. So these are compile folder. These are all in the compile folder. The parse folder will focus more on the parsing code, right? Parsing the Svelte source code into the AST. Right? Preprocess is preprocess, as the name suggests. So I'm going to look at the render DOM if block, right? So what blocks you are in, the name will be depending on that, right? So let's take a look over here. Anchor needs anchor. So the needs anchor is something we need to figure out, because very likely that this is false, and that's why it does not have an anchor. Right, yeah, quick test. Bit slow, my laptop. My laptop is a bit slow today. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, so needs anchor is false, right? That's why it's not correct. And if you, there's a lot of code over here. This is something what I do as well sometimes, which is because when there's an error, it will show the source code. Yeah, it will show the compile code print out. It will print out the compile code on the console, which actually I don't need. So I'm gonna comment them out, and let's try again. Actually, the reason I don't need them is that actually the compile code is also written into an output folder, right? I'm guessing it might be a legacy reason, because the console is there first and then someone saved it in to this folder. That's why, yeah. Right, so it's false. Right, so if we try to set this to true, and let's see what's happened. If it's true, wow, my laptop is really slow today. If it's true, it passes a test. So the only thing that we need to figure out is why it's false. Any special condition that we missed out. Okay, so over here, if next, probably the next is false because there's no next element, because it's the only element in the key block. If no parent, it has parent, and parent is not a DOM node. Okay, I can't think. I need to console all this thing out and take a look. So this next. Yeah, you know what, like a lot of people have been saying whether you use like debugger node, like using a Chrome debugging tools and stuff. To me, they are the big guns. I don't pull out big guns when I'm solving small issues. You know what I mean? I don't need them for now because I feel like this is faster. But once it gets hairy, especially in the case where I need to trace a lot of things, I need to step through a lot of functions, that's when I start to pull out, like using debugger and set breakpoints and stuff. So parent node is true. So the parent node is DOM node. Wait, the parent is DOM node. This is not quite right. Oh, okay. Let's take a look here. Block render DOM. So the parent comes from parent. Okay, key block. Okay. So this is what I said. When I implemented this, if there's no dependencies, I'm going to render statically. Render static key, which means that I am not going to create a new block. I'm going to render everything in the block. So just to save a few bytes of code. And if it's dynamic key, yeah, so the case is a render static key. Fragment render this dot block. This dot fragment wrapper parent. Oh, I think what might be incorrect over here could be because of let's see what is yeah, this is debugging. Let's see. Okay, I think firstly is that yeah, I know it's dominant, but what is the parent? So the parent is an element. It's the section element. Okay. That's not quite right. Take a look again, block parent. Because I would expect, I might be wrong, but I'm expecting it to be the key block. So parent is something you set in a constructor, right? You pass in parent and I believe it's being set over there. This is if block branch. Sorry, I'm gonna zoom out a bit. Hopefully it's still readable. Parent is here, right? If block wrapper. Where do you create this if block wrapper? Over here. Okay, I know what. That's probably it's in the fragment, because fragment wrapper. So key block will render a fragment, right? So we're gonna look at fragment. If block wrapper over here. I'm gonna search for wrappers. Oh, wrapper. Okay, here. Wrapper. Parent. And this parent comes from fragment wrapper's parent. Right. Let's take a look a few component fragment wrapper. The parent will be whatever parent it is. Each block wrapper, else block, each block wrapper. Wait, where's each wrapper? So each block wrapper, oh, the parent is this, right? It should be this. Okay, so not quite sure why the if parents is if block wrapper. Oh, okay. If wrapper, I know. Okay, the parent. So this is the parent. Okay, the parent of if block is the if. Okay. Now I know. So probably I copied the key wrapper from the if block wrapper. And because I don't really know a lot of things, I'm just copying things around. I'm guessing that this shouldn't be the parent, but this itself. So that, okay, so in our test case, we have the key, the section, and then the key, and then the if, right? So key will create a fragment over here. Something visible to the user or to the developer. It's just internally manage all the children. So this one, the parent of this should be the key instead of the parent of the key, right? So I'm just gonna change it to this. I'm gonna try again. Hopefully that works. Brilliant, that works. Right. Well, we need to run other tests as well so that it works as well. So I'm gonna remove the solo. I'm gonna run grep with the key block. So I'm gonna run test that starts with key block only. Hopefully this works. Right. It will run a few tests. Yeah, so all the key blocks test cases passed. Sorry about this, but if you look at here, all the key block test cases passed. So that's just one catch case that we didn't catch earlier. So that's fixed. So comment this. I'm gonna take a look again. And that reminds me that actually I've wrote another blog post. So if you are very confusing, sorry about that. I am equally confusing as well. I'm trying to figure like debugging at this, like this is live, me trying to debug things. So my mind is going everywhere. But for those who are interested in how keyblock is being implemented, actually I wrote a blog post. This is actually how it's being created. There's footnotes and stuff. If you're interested, you can take a look at that. Right. I hope that it will be helpful for you to understand how keyblock actually being implemented. Yeah, I should have mentioned about this way earlier. It's my bad. So I think test case passed. We are good to go. So gonna remove this, okay? And we're gonna switch back over here to my Svelte project. I am going to build you again. And hopefully this time around, it works. I should have commented this out. Let's see, where is it again? It's at the, yeah, all this. I'm gonna remove them. Okay, come back. Yeah, okay, it's okay. I don't have to rebuild. I'm gonna here, hard refresh. Okay, click, 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 click. This is good. We fix this bug now. Now let's take a look at the next one. Num only button on click with div1 is error. If I comment this out, right? So let's go back here, uncomment this, and let's take a look. Yeah, and build. So over here, if I uncomment this and I click, I'll get div1 is not defined. Right, so let's see whether this may have been fixed as well. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is fixed together, right? So this is usually what I call like what is a root cause and what is a symptom. So this is probably a symptom of the bug. The root cause, which is the anchor, like the parent is pointing in the wrong place, and that is the root cause, and like the bug we've seen in the first place, and over here they are the symptom. Okay, so when uncommented, first button generates an error, second button displays by clicking the incorrect order. Okay, it says, let's try. Okay, this works. That's what he's trying to say. This works. Let's try on our side. This should work as well, according to. Let's hope that our fix does not break this. So let's try. Finger cross. Roll up. Hard refresh. Voila. It works as well. Yep, I think this is the bug. Not sure whether you guys are disappointed or excited, but apparently it's a one-line fix kind of thing. Alright, so let's take a look. You only change parent to this. I'm gonna reset this. And yeah, that's just one line change parent to this, and we added a test case. Test, right? We create a test case. You've seen my workflow how I create a test case. You've seen my workflow how I created a repro and trying to figure them out. Unfortunately, this is not a very complicated bug. Probably that's good news for you guys because you don't have to look. It's not too confusing, hopefully. So now what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to commit this. I'm going to create a branch. So I have my own naming convention I usually use. I used to create a lot of branch that based on the feature name. If you take a look over here. After a while, I lose track of like what's the issue that this is trying to fix. So in the end, I started creating branches named after the issue that I'm gonna fix. So, oops, sorry. This issue is 5680. I'm gonna be key if in key block, right? I'm gonna commit it. Fix order of HTML text when if in key block. Push this, refresh. Oops. Okay, push. Click this. Create a pull request. Yeah, if you haven't seen how a pull request is being done, yeah, hit push, and I have this. I'm gonna tick all this, yada yada. It means that I've created test cases. It should pass with the test case should fail if without this PR, and I add this test case that only passed because of my fix. This is not something like an RFC. This is not a new feature. And usually I will gonna include like the fixes, the issue as well. So it's a 5680, right? So this is if you haven't looked at this before, this is actually a GitHub syntax. If you write something like fixes or closes and then the issue number start with a hashtag, when this pull request is merged, that issue will be closed by itself, right? This is a GitHub syntax, GitHub workflow. So create pull request, and that's all. So the CI will run. Hopefully everything passes the CI. Yeah, so actually a better workflow is I have to run the linting before I commit. I can run it now. Lint, yes, lint fix. That's a file that I change. This one, right? Yeah, so usually I'm lazy. I'm gonna run only to the file that I made changes. Hopefully there's not much. Hopefully it's lint correct. Yep, no changes. I like this theme so that it tells me whether I don't have to look at like git status and see whether there's changes, but yeah, there's no changes. We're good to go. And that's all, guys. Hopefully this CI passes and this will be merged and the bug will be fixed. Thank you for watching it through. If you like to see me fix some of the issues or something that you would like to look at, and also any questions that you would like to ask, please comment down below. I know that I've been jumping around. This is a very unorganized video. Hope you guys, if you see it through, congratulations. But I believe you may have or might have or you have, sorry, bad grammar, but I believe if you stay through, you may have some questions you want to ask. Please comment down below. I am welcome. I'm happy to answer all the questions you have. And that's all for today. See you next time. So thank you for staying till the end. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to stay notified with my next video, please hit the subscribe button down below. As always, stay safe and well. See you next time.